Hello everyone, Derek's Damn Toys, and we are back with another action figure review. As you can see, we've got the Unrivaled Series 18, Samoa Joe here in the house. If you watched the last review, you would know that I did have this figure in hand and ready to review, and well, I am really excited to get into this action figure review, my first ever AEW Samoa Joe. We can compare him with the Mattel Samoa Joe, or at least one of them, because I do own two of the Mattel Samoa Joes, but we're not going to get into that too much. If anything, we're going to get into the Samoan submission machine himself, or as he's known in my pick-fed universe, the heavy hitter of the NWO. We've got this Unrivaled Series 18 Samoa Joe. Why don't we get him out of his plastic prison and, well, we can get right into this action figure review now, shall we? Alrighty, you guys, now that we've got this Samoa Joe all out of his plastic prison, we can go over the figure, but most importantly, first and foremost, we must go over the accessories, and he does come with quite a bit of accessories. Sadly, one that should have gotten added, so an honorable mention here. We've got, like some sort of towel accessory, because he always comes out with a towel, but we'll take some pictures with that. You'll see that up on Instagram. No biggie there. But first and foremost, he does come with 3 different sets of interchangeable hands. We've got his, I don't know exactly what they call this. It's like a Hawaiian hand gesture, like a hello or something like that. I can't remember, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, but really nice detailing here when it comes to these hands. Of course, 2 out of the 3, and I say 2 out of the 3 are completely sculpted with wrist tape, as you can see here when it comes to his one grapple hand or mic holding hand in the sense, because this would hold like a WWE microphone, but it's got the wrist tape on it. Always a nice detail there. But when it comes to the AEW mic holding hand, he only has a little bit of wrist tape there. I don't know what the deal is with that, but it's not the biggest ordeal. I know his first couple of figures had hands that were more like that, instead of them being fully taped up. But yeah, we've got a couple of nice hand accessories here, and the big main accessory, of course, an AEW World Heavyweight Championship. But what makes this one a little bit more unique, and I'm kind of sad to see them start doing this, because then this is more or less a superstar specific championship. We've got the custom side plates here with the Samoa Joe there in the circle. Really nice detailing on this. I think this might be the best looking AEW championship out there, which even sadder to say, because here's one of the first renditions of it, if I recall correctly, and the gold on it is really not as good in comparison to the gold on this one. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I do like the way this one looks a hell of a lot more than the older ones. But speaking of that, why don't we get into the newer AEW Samoa Joes? First things first, this new Samoa Joe head scan, which honestly, this is definitely his best head scan by far, if we're going to be honest, through the AEW line. Maybe, honestly, his best head scan overall when it comes to the Mattel ones, though I do like the grimacing mean scan that they do have with the Mattel figures. I think I have that one with the red shorts, but I'm not exactly too sure. I can't remember if that's actually the original head scan that came on that one, but either way, really good on the Samoa Joe scan here. It looks really well to Samoa Joe, if I'm going to be quite fair. We've got the big man torso here with some chest hair. As you can see on the back of the box, he did have a little bit of chest hair, so that is actually completely accurate. And one thing I will say is he's actually got a pretty decent amount of ab crunch here. I don't know if they specially did that, because like, yeah, he doesn't really have much in the front, but he can bend backwards and he can go side to side if you really want him to. You might have to force it a little bit, but it will budge. Either way, a nice little detail here. We've got the elbow pad, or well, the elbow tape, because he doesn't really wear an elbow pad, but it's looking really good. Moves pretty damn well. We've got sculpted wrist tape here, which, you know, that would have been cool to see on the elbow pad, but it could have caused, like, hindering in the elbow articulation, so I get why they didn't. But sculpted wrist tape on both wrists. Sorry for the yawning. It is still fairly early for me, I'd say. But getting into the like combat shorts that he wears, I'm not exactly sure what you would call these things. The nice black and yellow short combination here. I know they did do one for AEW, for WWE's Mattel line. I do not own that one though, but I think just because of how much better the AEW one poses from the waist down, this figure's already a solid like 9 out of 10 just based on that alone. But that's also kind of the sad reality of this, because like, yeah, kick forward is actually pretty damn decent compared to most Samoa Joes. Like, he can actually throw a pretty decent big boot if you pose him up in there right for it. But because of how AEW did his knee pads, these motherfuckers do not bend at all. But he does have kick pad rotation, so, you know, no need for a lower leg swap here. You just might need to swap the knee pads. Though I'm not gonna lie, the idea of maybe taking the knee pads off and cutting a chunk out of these to make them a bit more posable might be more feasible, in my opinion there. Black underneath the knee pads, I don't know if that was exactly accurate or not to this attire, but normally he does wear white tape underneath the knees, so you can tend to see that through the hole in the knee pad. As you can tell, there is a gigantic hole there. Really accurate though to how Samoa Joe does have his knees, have his knee pads. And then the kick pads are nice. They're just solid black kick pads. They do look really damn good though. The feet or ankle definitely poses well. It's holding solid, holding true. What you like to see when it comes to any figure line, because that just means he's going to be standing with the best of them. But I digress. Why don't I get into a little bit of action figure comparisons maybe, and on top of it, we can rank and scale the figure out of 1 to 10, or the good old Meltzer scale as we also tend to do here. Well, alright, you guys, we do have my Mattel and my AEW Samoa Joe sitting here side by side. Currently my favorite, and well, probably my only favorite Samoa Joe release on the Mattel side here on the left. We've got the nice blue shorts, attire I would love to see AEW do, especially now that he's guaranteed worn them on pay-per-view. We're more than likely gonna see that, and I say it like that because didn't he just wear the blue shorts against Hangman on Wrestle Dream? I'm not exactly sure, I haven't watched it in full, but seeing the clips, I want to say so. Either way, both are really clean in their own perspectives, let's be honest here. The AEW torso doesn't bend as well as the Mattel torso here, as you do get ab crunch no matter what. It's not just the back bend, but the Mattel can't throw a fucking solid big boot to save his life. Like, you might as well just have him tripping and breaking his own ankle just to throw a decent big boot. And that's where the AEW one definitely has the mark there, along with the fact that, let's be honest here, these two head scans side by side, I do prefer the AEW one because it just doesn't feel as gigantic as it does over here on the other end when it comes to the Mattel version. Because, like, let's be honest, that fucking chin is ginormous. Why is his chin so goddamn huge here? That's questions you'll have to ask Bill Makita and all them motherfuckers over at Mattel. Either way, not shitting on the Mattel one. It's just there's a lot of aspects to this AEW one here that are really damn good compared to the prior releases. Of course, maybe if the Samoa Joe had double jointed arms, I wouldn't complain as much about the leg posability, but single jointed arms along with the shit leg posability, mind you, not even just can he not throw a decent big boot, but because of the short mold, he can't even bend his knee all the way, which also just sucks major ass. But you can see the detailing here on the knee pads that I was talking about with like the white knee tape underneath and all that cool jazz. Maybe that's something that AEW should do with him on their figures, is mold the knee pads on instead of making them their own separate mold and kind of having Luchasaurus syndrome as far as the knees. But I digress. I really do. We're not here to bitch about this one. I promise we're not. This AEW Samoa Joe, at the end of the day, when it comes down to the scaling, the ranking, whatever you want to call it, it's really solid on its own. It really is. And honestly, this may be the best Samoa Joe release by far, as the prior, 2 releases of Samoa Joe, not that they're terrible, because I want to say they're fairly all similar, except for hand size, because the accessories as far as the hands go are definitely a lot bigger. But I don't know personally, as I don't own any of the other AEW Joes. I kind of waited for a really good one to come out, and well, this was the really good one that came out in my opinion. Took them 3 tries, but the third time was definitely the charm here. And well, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to have to rank him a good solid 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, the ab crunch is a little ass, but it's not as bad as you really could believe. If anything, my main point derivative here is the knee pads. Those knee pads just suck major ass. Honestly, those knee pads are about as worse as my sound quality in my JBL speaker over here, because I'm sure you guys have been hearing it kind of fucking off when that bass hits a little heavy, and I don't know why. It kind of started doing that mid-review in the last review. Maybe I'll just start adding music in after I get done reviewing these, but then my mind would lose even more focus than it does now, not having any background music, plus you would probably hear a major echo, as I don't have any like sound barrier not making it sound nice and quality, let alone the fact that I don't have great headphones that can kind of just block out outside sound and make myself sound really good at the same time. But I digress. 8.5 out of 10 is where this Samoa Joe lands on the ranking. But when it comes to the good old Dave Meltzer star scale, the good old 1 to Young Buck match, what would I rank him on that? We gave him a good solid 8.5 out of 10, so I feel a good solid 4 out of 5 stars works for him. A really solid release, not solidly perfect, but pretty damn perfect enough to where I can recommend, if you are a Samoa Joe fan, this is a must-buy Samoa Joe release. But with all that being said, I digress. We can actually kind of just start signing out. So if you guys have stayed this long, thank you for tuning in. And well, if anything, if you guys like this video, feel free to like the video. And if you guys not just like this video, but would like to, feel free to go check out some of my other action figure content. We've got plenty of reviews. We've got the Jack Perry that is in this wave. I don't know if I really went over the figures on the back of the box this time around, I'm not gonna lie, but the Jack Perry from this wave will be up here soon. We haven't started uploading that as of recording, but we've got this Claudio Castagnoli rare edition You know, because it's got the really nice jacket and shit. I'm sure you can see that there in the video thumbnail. But we've got the Kill Switch slash Luchasaurus figure, which you'll see in the Jack Perry figure review if you haven't watched that already. We've got the Joe Gacy Elite Series 120. We've got pick fed content. Let's just say it like this. We've got content galore on here between pick fed, reviews, unboxings, potentially any other type of video you can think of where we are actually fixing like modern day Mattel legs, any of the figures made in Vietnam, I should specify. But yeah, just a lot of dope stuff in my opinion. And on top of that, if you guys could though, the most important thing, feel free to subscribe. After all, it is free to subscribe. So if you guys could help me on the journey to 500 subscribers, I would gladly appreciate it, as we are currently sitting at 443, I almost said 33, but 443 subscribers. So we're almost there to that 500 marker. We're 8 away from being halfway guarantee, but yeah, other than that, I don't know what else I can really say. So maybe, you know, hit a Macho Man elbow on that subscribe button or whatever you would like to hit as far as a wrestling move goes. I don't know. What's your favorite wrestling move? Maybe I should start saying hit a 5-star frog splash on the subscribe button. After all, RVD is my GOAT. If I haven't specified that enough throughout the years, I say years as it's been 3 years and like 4 months now, I think. 4, maybe 3 months. I don't know. It's whatever though. If anything, have a good rest of your day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I don't know, because I'm not in your time zone. I'm also fucking up my outro heavily, but yeah, if I were in your time zone, would I enjoy my time there? Probably hell no. But either way, deuces, ooses, yeet. Between you and I don't know why I couldn't fucking get that little ending out there without my fingers being in the camera shot. But yeah, I digress. Have a good rest of your night, guys.